Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Sports Today, and I bring you good news from Southampton. Of course, after the first day was washed out, first day of the World Test Championship final between India and New Zealand was washed out on the 18th of June, Friday, remember. But the toss has taken place now. Kane Williamson, the New Zealand captain, has won the toss, and he has decided to bowl first against India in overcast conditions. So India are going to bat first. They have been asked to bat in Southampton for the World Test Championship final versus New Zealand. Of course, we earlier in the morning we heard and saw footage from Southampton where the sun was out, it was bright, but gradually through the last 2 or 3 hours, it became overcast again. But the good news is play will start on schedule. The toss has taken place, so that's the good news from Southampton. Of course, their New Zealand are playing four frontline seamers, and Colin de Grandhomme is there as the all-rounder. So no Ajaz Patel there for New Zealand. That's what Kane Williamson said at the toss. He said we are going to have a bowl first, and he said the conditions, a bit of weather around. Hopefully, we can make use of the first hour, get a bit of seam movement. That's what Kane Williamson said at the toss, and also to tell you that the floodlights were on in Southampton, where it's still a little murky. He also said that this is about BJ Watling. Remember, he's going to retire after this Test match, and he paid tribute to Kane Williamson. Paid tribute to BJ Watling, a friend of his. He's also a close friend of his. He said, BJ is a big player for us and a real leader within our group." And said it's a really great occasion for him to play his last game, and I'm sure he'll enjoy it. That's what Kane Williamson said. And Virat Kohli at the toss said he would have bowled first too had they won the toss, but of course, the India captain said he was happy to bat first. It's a big final, and he would want to put runs on the board. And however many you get at the end of the day with the batting first, he said it's always a bit of an advantage. By the way, there is also no change in that playing 11 for India, which had been announced the day before yesterday. He is Virat Kohli still backing his two spinners, Ravindra Jadeja and R. Ashwin, and said that they can bowl in any conditions. And if there is a bit of dampness, they're really accurate and can make use of that as well. So that's the update from the toss. That's the update from Southampton, where New Zealand have won the toss and decided to bowl first against India in overcast conditions. There was a lot of speculation over the last 20, 24 hours whether India would make any changes to their playing 11. But remember, also, India fielding coach R. Sridhar had said that this 11 that they had announced was apt and was capable of taking control of any condition and any situation. So that's that. That's the update from Southampton. It's Of course, this is another big day of Test cricket for the India women's team. They will resume play day four very soon against England women in Bristol, where remember rain had forced early stumps in on day three after a sensational half century from Shafali Verma, her second of her debut test. Of course, it's a big day because India women would hope for Shafali Verma to get going and score some more runs and uh, work out a draw in this historic test match for the India women's team. I'm just waiting for updates on the New Zealand playing 11. But what we can tell you is four frontline seamers and Colin de Grandhomme, no Ajaz Patel. So that means no spin for New Zealand in this World Test Championship final, whereas India have two frontline spinners in Ravindra Jadeja and R. Ashwin. While we wait for New Zealand's spinners, I'll quickly I'll give you a recap of that India playing 11. It's Rohit Sharma, Shubman Gill, the openers, Chiteshwar Pujara, number 3, Virat Kohli, the captain, number 4, Ajinkya Rahane, 5, Rishabh Pant, and then the two spinners, Jadeja, Ashwin, and the three pacers, Mohammad Shami, Ishant Sharma, and Jasprit Bumrah. That's what the 11 is looking like. I'll just wait on the New Zealand 11 but what we can tell you is that they are not playing a single spinner. So that's the New Zealand 11 I have with me. That's Tom Latham, Devon Conway, Kane Williamson, the captain, Ross Taylor, Henry Nichols, BJ Watling, the wicketkeeper, playing his last match for New Zealand. Colin de Grandhomme, the all-rounder at number 7. Kylie Jamieson, Tim Southey, Neil Wagner, and Trent Bolt. So that's the 11 for New Zealand. Tom Latham, Devon Convoy, Kane Williamson, Ross Taylor, Henry Nichols, BJ Watling, Colin de Grandhomme, and the four fast bowlers, Jamieson, Southey, Wagner, and Bolt. Well, that's the team. You tell us what do you think about it, what do you think of it, and they have to, uh, come out and uh, deliver against a very strong, very strong Indian batting lineup. That's going to be a challenge for both teams. In fact, in these conditions, facing up to these four fast bowlers, that's always going to be a challenge for the Indian batting lineup, and of course also the fact that this Indian batting lineup is super solid, super strong. I have also looked up for some stats for you in terms of how teams have done batting first in Southampton. This is It's interesting because also don't forget that conditions matter. This is the overcast conditions. It rained almost all of yesterday. Day two of this test match, it began with a bit of sun and brightness. So this is keep in mind all those conditions. The fact that the floodlights are already on. It's still pretty murky and dark out there. So out of 6 matches played at Southampton, the teams batting first have won thrice, while the team batting second haven't yet won a test match. So that's and generally teams winning the toss in Southampton have batted first. So those are interesting numbers. In If you think of the toss, if you think of what lies in store for this test match. So Sachin Chaudhary saying first innings is very important for the India team. Or I don't know if he's talking the first hour. Yes, but whatever way you look at it, it is important. Sandeep Kohli never wins tosses. It doesn't matter if he's winning tosses or not, as long as he wins games of cricket for India and keeps winning one series after another. And of course, they would want to look at how they do in the World Test Championship final. I'll give you some stats around Virat Kohli as well. Um, This is, of course, this is as far as the toss goes. I've been digging out some numbers for you to share with you on the live show. This is what just I will just look it up for you. Yes, there goes some numbers on Virat Kohli. Well, today Virat Kohli's cap. This is his 61st Test match as India captain, and he's of course this is nobody else. No other Asian captain has led their country in as many Test matches. Of course, MS Dhoni had captained India in 60 Test matches, while while Rana Tunga and Misbah-ul Haq had captained in 56 Test matches. So this is another milestone for Virat Kohli. He's breaking MS Dhoni. Overtaken MS Dhoni's tally of 60 Test matches as India captain. And it has been a commendable achievement for Virat Kohli because he's been a stellar performer with the bat as well. You look at his averages as captain of India, and it's just phenomenal. His average has improved leaps and bounds after he's taken over as India captain. His double centuries, hundreds in every condition. He's gone and scored. He scored runs in Australia. He scored runs against England in England at home. He's just been phenomenal. He scored against the best in the business, and he scored in the toughest of conditions. Of course, his role along with Rohit Sharma, Rahane Pujara with the bat will be very important, and India will hope that young Cheteshwar Pujara also fires in this test match, because remember, the openers will now, especially in these conditions, their contribution will be significant. How long can they blunt this attack? Not necessarily scoring too many runs, but how long can they blunt this attack? New Zealand is not going with no spinners, but India is going with two. Yes, that is what Virat Kohli said, that they would want to play to their strength, and their strength is this particular bowling combination of Jadeja, Ashwin, two spinners, and Ishant Shami and Bumrah. So they are backing their strength. New Zealand are backing their strength. Frankly, if you look at the three spinners here, two from India, Jadeja and Ashwin and Ajaz Patel, there is no competition really, and these two, Jadeja and Ashwin, are absolute world beaters. So you uh, wouldn't want to leave these two out. Swarnadeep Bakchi is asking if it's isn't it too risky to play with two spinners in this condition? Well, look, that's what the Indian team believes in. They had time to assess the condition. They had time to look at what was happening with the rain. Again, we saw it was sunny up in the morning. It's overcast now, but they still went in with an unchanged 11 from the one that they announced 2 days back. So they obviously backed their spinners, and Virat Kohli said at the toss, he said as much. So they don't think it's a risk. It's not a risk. It's they have two world class spinners and they have three very good pacers, three world class pacers. So they believe they have their bowling lineup sorted, and they believe they have the batsmen who can negate and who can take on these conditions very well. Rohit, please score. Of course, one of you want Rohit Sharma to. I mean, a lot of you would want Rohit Sharma to score runs, wouldn't you? And that is exactly what I have been saying on my live shows. It's very important for the openers, both Rohit Sharma and Shubman Gill, to to get off to a good start, whether it's in terms of runs or how many overs they consume between the two of them. That will go a long way in dictating how this test match shapes for India. India would not want to lose early wickets, not certainly not in these conditions against a lineup like the one New Zealand have brought in Jameson, Southey, Wagner, and Trent Bolt. Dangerous bowling lineup, as is India's. Again, some of you have questions on the spinners, but that's the lineup that India believe in. That's the lineup that the captain and the coach are backing. So, and Jadeja and Ashwin are world class spinners, and there is no reason to believe that they uh, cannot work their magic in every condition. Well, I think that's all the update I have for you. I have given you everything that I needed to share with you. India have been asked to bat after Kane Williamson, the New Zealand captain, won the toss. He wanted to exploit these conditions, bowl under overcast skies in Southampton. And New Zealand are playing with four pacers, one all-rounder and Colin de Grandio, which means no spinners for the New Zealanders. And of course, India have kept their playing 11 unchanged. That's the update from the toss and the team selection for New Zealand. Of course, I'll come back to you very soon with plenty of comments or plenty of updates on the women's game and, of course, this World Test Championship final. Boria Majumdar will join you at the lunch break to get you updates of the first session, and hopefully, it's a good session for India. It's a solid session for India. And of course, remember, our coverage on the Euro 2020 will continue, and there'll be plenty more in the course of the day on Sports Today. So please do subscribe. Please do subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends, tell family, bring them on Sports Today, and we promise to make it worth your while. Thank you so much. Have a good evening. Have a good afternoon. Enjoy your weekend. Stay safe. Thank you.